All right, today we're gonna go over a few things to review. So here is the coral piece that I made, and I began adding texture to this. So all I'm doing is grabbing a sharp tool like this and making lots of little dots all over my coral piece. You can see how this is gonna help kind of make it look realistic and add a lot of texture, which is gonna look really nice once we paint it. So there's one way to add that. I sculpted this making just like a bunch of little coils, a bunch of snakes, and then I'm gonna let it dry a little bit more, and then I'm gonna put it up because I want my sculpture to be a little bit more dry so that it's strong enough to stand. The next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to add this leaf onto my sculpture. It's a little bit thick, so I'm gonna try and make it a little bit thinner because we want it to be around the size of our pinky finger. Right, and I kind of like that curve at the top. So it kind of looks like kelp. This is the most important part, remember you have to score, which is scratching lines in 2 directions onto your piece. I'm gonna dip my finger in water. This is how much water we need, right? We don't need that much water. And then I'm gonna squish it on. Okay, now that I have done that, I can smooth. I can use a tool or I can use my finger, and I can kind of smooth over and smooth down any like lines that I have and any edges. Because remember, any parts that are rough and bumpy are gonna be like that forever, and then it's gonna get sharp once it turns into ceramic, once it goes in the oven. So you really wanna make sure that when you are working, you are smoothing everything and properly attaching. Another thing we could make is these like little coral balls or spheres, or you can make like those cylinder ones. You can use the bottom of a paintbrush to make a hole in the bottom. And now I have some of these little pieces that I can use for coral. I have something like this that I can add some more texture into, or a bunch of these little tiny like coral beads like this that I can start to add to my sculpture to bring in a little bit more texture and to kind of help my coral come to life a little bit. So make sure that you are scoring and slipping properly. Your clay should not be thinner than your pinky or your thumb, right? Everywhere. It shouldn't be too wide because you don't want it to explode. And make sure that you are smoothing and refining your sculpture today.